Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of OneMicNiteTalk. Thank you for joining us. I'm MarcosLuis, and this is Ashley Green. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the social media. Drop us a comment. We want to know what you want us to talk about. Today, we're talking about COVID. How do you feel entering society today from COVID? Now, 587,000 deaths in the US. We are now at a 1.6% positive test rate, 0.7%, and the infection rate is decreasing. Are you ready to go back in? How are you feeling about entering society, going back to businesses? The businesses in New York have dropped the mandate for masks if you're fully vaccinated. And some of the private businesses are allowed to keep their own practices. But how do you feel? What have you learned in this whole instance? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So Ashley, what do you think? That's a lot, right?
It is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
What are your thoughts on that? How are you feeling about going back into society today?
You know what? I didn't even know that. I don't know if it's anxiety with a little bit PTSD. I was feeling a little bit anxious because, especially living in New York, you feel like, I don't know what it was, right? It was one day when I was working out in the park and I was feeling like, oh, I gotta get back to the hustle. I'm so behind. And your mind's telling you that. And then my heart and my spirit's like, how are you behind and you couldn't do anything last year?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you actually can't really do as much as you can this year. We're slowly getting back into it.
But is that the energy of New York though? I mean, is that the energy of New York making you feel like that? Because,
I think
like
it's
you said, New York is a hustle. It's hustle. It's hustle. It's hustle.
Yeah, I think it's the energy in New York, but I also think it's my own self being hard on the things that the things I wanted to accomplish last year, I didn't get to accomplish because of what happened with COVID. But as always, we always forget about the things that we didn't plan to accomplish, but we did accomplish.
Right, that's true.
You know what I mean? There's other things that I did that like, I didn't plan on accomplishing, right. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things like your mind plays tricks on you and you have to let your thoughts go away like clouds, just pass it on by. So I've gotten better with doing that. But just like we were talking before, I think the sleep has to get better.
Yeah, definitely.
The sleep is like, it's off and on for me. It's like coming in waves, right. You know?
And definitely that's part of this whole experience too. I think, yeah, you're right. The anxiety kicked in for everybody. You know, you're anxious. You don't know, first of all, you don't know what your financial state is going to be. You don't know if you're going back to work. You don't know if you're going to catch the Rona. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. That's real. You don't know.
Right.
So the anxiety level is so high, you know, that you can't sleep. People are not sleeping and people are on edge. And I think that's why too, like right now, we're at a place here in New York City, you know, and for all of you who are watching and listening, this is filmed in New York City. We're at a place on, you know, public transportation where people are on edge. We're having, you know, bouts of violence, people close together, fights breaking out on the train, you know, people, you're walking too close to me. Like those whole situations is creating so much anxiety and so much fear and so much pressure along the way too. That's a problem.
Yeah, and also like if like, you know, I don't know if you got the message, but they just opened up New York City 24-hour subway service again, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that causes so much anxiety in itself because now you're like, oh, they're forcing you to be like, you got to get back into the hustle. You have to do this and that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when you think about it, it's like, what hustle am I getting back into? You know, like.
Listen, which brings me to another point. Yeah. You're right. So we're also at a point too where you have like, you know, everybody's going out and everybody's been receiving these, you know, the stimulus checks, plus the COVID pay. So we're at a point where these people who are receiving those, namely restaurant workers and things like that, they don't even want to go back to work yet. So we're having a shortage of people in restaurants and social places to gather because nobody wants to go back to work.
And you know what? And it makes sense because when you think about it, I believe we spoke about it before. It's like you make more money when you're on unemployment than when you were working. And I think a lot of us has noticed, even me, there's a lot of healing and spirituality that I dealt with that I didn't even deal with because I was always hustling.
Yes.
So there were a lot of wounds that have been healed for 1 year because it was like a little, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people been going through, so I'm not trying to make it seem like I don't recognize people struggling. I'm just talking about my own experience because I don't want nobody coming after me.
Right, yeah, no.
Yeah. She sounds like she's on a retreat. I'm talking about my own experience, honey. I'm single, no kids. My experience is different than people with children and all those things. And I'm not trying to, please do not gaslight my experience because that is my experience.
Right.
The only person I need to take care of is Ashley Green. And that is it. Because, hey, gotta let the people know.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right. And that's what we're talking about. It's your experience. It's an individual experience. Go ahead.
Yeah, so with that, I didn't have to deal with the struggles of taking care of anybody but me. So what I started noticing was I was just going through this path of spirituality and just getting healed with a lot of healing old wounds that never been healed, and also getting closer with friends and talking about real conversations instead of just always talking about goals all the time and career stuff. It started getting real.
Yeah, so, you're right.
We just, even people, like even you and I, like getting closer talking more.
Exactly.
You got to get to know people even more. Right. And so I think that's a beautiful thing. But I also I feel like the city, the people in charge, I feel like they're making it too fast for people where, like I said, like, it's like, we got to get back into the hustle. And my mind is just like, okay, I don't mind hustling, but what hustle am I getting back into? Because what I won't do.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think that's the brilliant thing about it is because we've had this time, and we say this in a lot of our talks, but we've had this time, and I feel like some of those, back to the restaurant people and back to the people in these customer service industries and hotels and things like that, they found out that they don't want to do that anymore. They've had time to collect the unemployment and the stimulus check and redirect their thinking and know that they're not getting paid what they should be getting paid. They're working so hard, so they've started to go into business for themselves. They started to get in touch with who they are and what they really want to do. So everything kind of slowed down. So if you didn't take advantage of this time, shame on you, man, because you've had time to redirect all your energy and all your ways of thinking and what's important to you in your life, whether it's what you said before, human connection, connection with family, connection with friends. All these people, like in New York City, we're just passing by. We're like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. You had all this time to connect with those people and like really find out what's important to you in your life. And I think that's the brilliant thing that came out of this. And like you said, it's our experience. Thank God I don't know anyone who passed away from coronavirus, and my heart goes out to everybody who did. It's a real thing. It's real. So
it really is real.
I've gotten a chance to, focus on me and get in touch with who I am and refocus what I'm doing. So I'm right there with you. I agree.
No, definitely. Yeah, because it made me like, because you know how you don't see friends and then we go to brunch.
Yep.
And then even that conversation can be a little bit aloof, or it's not really in depth. So it was nice that it became part of my daily schedule or routine of talking to friends every day, video chatting every day.
Right.
And us just getting real about anxieties and even about our goals and just getting real about stuff. And I felt like I've gotten to know my friends even on a deeper level, and they've gotten to know me on a deeper level. And it made me start thinking about what really are my goals? What do I really focus on? And I decided I don't mind the hustle, but I feel like I'm more interested in aligning. You know, I'm not interested in the grind. I'm more interested in aligning. I'm not interested in being so busy where mental takes a back seat, sleep takes the back seat. I even noticed this week I was starting to get back into that hustle mentality because I was doing a lot of things and I told 2 of my friends I would complete this thing. And I already had other things to do. And I had to stop myself like, wait. You're putting way too much on your schedule and on your plate that you're forgetting that you created boundaries for yourself, you know? And so you're starting to do like 10 things in one day when it's like, no, boo, that's not what we do anymore. Right. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things I have learned, because I remember when I got into COVID, I never even realized I really didn't have boundaries when it came to love and when it came to people in my orbit. You know, it would be like, I used to have that Superman complex, you know, I can do everything, whatever you need, I'll make it happen. And I just decided like, no, that's not what we do anymore.
Right.
You know?
That's interesting because I guess I'm the same way. I'm usually a person who does I do everything. I put so much on my plate and I put so much pressure on myself to complete things that sometimes it just overwhelms me. And so now I'm at the point where I've reassessed all that and I'm asking for help. I can't do it on my own.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. Just a few minutes ago, I asked someone, you know, for something. I'm so used to doing it, like I can do it myself. But you have to ask people for help. You have to rethink how things are working. And you can't, why do I want to hustle like that? For what?
Yeah, I've been doing this new thing, like I speak and I pray. I'm like, God, send me my helpers. Send me my helpers to help me, because that's how you align. Because like you said, we can't do this by ourselves. Yeah. And I think that was the bad habit that we were taught in New York City, like, ain't nobody gonna do it for you.
Right.
And it's just like, no, it's not about no one doing it for you, but they will help you. Right. They will guide you. And it doesn't have to be this hard to be, you know, like you feeling exhausted. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, every day don't have to be a smooth day, but it don't have to be exhaustion like 5 days out of the week.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, it doesn't have to be that at all.
I think that goes back to, like we said, that's the hustle of New York, and that's just the energy of this city. I don't think a lot of other cities have that sort of mentality and that hustle. No. It's just the buzz and the energy of the city. And, you know, what do we do? How do we remain centered? How do we remain, you know, in a way where we can function, be productive, you know, but still keep our own center?
Yeah, I think for me, what I've been doing is like trying to keep the same rituals I was doing when I was in COVID. Like there was a time where people couldn't call me. They could call me in the mornings as soon as I wake up when COVID was happening. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, like it's too much access to me, you know? So I was like, let's slow it down a little bit. And now what I do is like, you can't call me in the morning before I do like my devotions, my meditations, my affirmations, you know, and stuff like that. But that's what I've been doing. And then always, like I said, the best thing to do is just being self-aware. You know, I've been really self-aware of like, it's crossing your boundaries.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first step, is to make the boundaries, right? So you make the boundaries and then remind yourself, you know, what they are periodically throughout the day. And if someone crosses it, you have to pull back a little and say no.
Yeah, but it'd be mostly me crossing my own boundaries.
Right.
I'll be the one who acts like, oh, I can do that. And I keep forgetting mentally, you know, you can do it, but your body is getting tired. Right. Yeah. Because think about it, we've been in COVID, so my body's not used to doing so many projects at one time. Yeah. You know, my body's like, what are we doing? Because it takes so much mental space. Right. So my body be like, we're done with that. We spent like 2 hours on that. We're done today. Like, we'll do that tomorrow. Right. You know? So, yeah. So completing one thing at a time before you take on all these things. That's probably the best way. Yeah. You know what? I will say it is so different doing things way slower But I will say this, being slower and more consistent has worked out so much better, because I notice even though I'm slower at things, I do things better at a slower rate at one project at a time. That's just what I've noticed for myself. And I noticed that like I don't feel so rushed and so antsy. But I also believe like that's just because of COVID and I'm not used to doing so many things. So when I start getting back into the groove of like, you know, the New York City rhythm, maybe I'll get better at like multitasking all these things.
Right. But how are you feeling about actually going out into the world? I mean, like actually going out and having to do things with other people, you know, and gathering.
Oh, I've been kind of doing that. Like I've been going to the park. I've been to brunch a couple of times. I've been to some restaurants. So that I'm not nervous about. I've done some of those things. And I am ready to get back to like doing those things with like larger groups and things like that. So I am ready to socialize, I would say.
Yeah.
I think I definitely need to socialize even more, because I noticed that I'm not an introverted person, but I noticed that I can become one. And I don't like.
You think this pandemic has added more to that now?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so
like I'm very good at being extroverted, introverted, but I notice I'm getting a little bit better at being introverted. And I don't think that's so healthy though, because in the business that we in, introverted doesn't get you nowhere. It doesn't get you contact.
Yeah.
It just, you know, you can't be unless you're a writer or you're something else that you don't really, you know, you're a boss and you don't need all of that. But I know for me, I need to feed off of people's energy. So I don't like being in a house all the time, and I need to go out, and I would like to go out, meet people, go to parties. I miss going to parties, I would say.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
I miss going out to have a drink, you know, sit at a bar and talk to people, meet new people, all that stuff. Yeah.
And be out late. And I miss that, going out late, you know, just being out. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm so ready to get back to Broadway and see Broadway plays.
Me too.
I'm ready to see people's plays. I'm ready to see my friends in plays and go see them in plays, you know. Have you been going out at all? Like since
I haven't done anything. I mean, I
really.
You see, I don't think
not even brunch.
Not yet. No, I mean, I'm planning on doing all that stuff this week. You know, the vaccine just kicked in for me, so now I feel better.
Okay, I haven't taken it yet.
Yeah, you need to hop on that.
I know. I don't supposed to take it till May 25th. Is my day. I take it.
25th.
Yeah, that May 25th. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely recommend everybody taking it. I think it's not only for yourself, but it's for others as well.
Yeah. It's making me nervous because a lot of my friends been sending me videos, and so it makes.
Videos of what? Like how they're reacting to it?
Yeah, how people react to it.
Bad videos?
Huh?
Have they been reacting badly?
No. They're sending me of other, you know, conspiracy theory videos. They've been sending me those type of videos. So, you know, when you be watching the video, you be like,
right.
What is this?
Yeah.
So it's been making me really, really nervous. And I was even thinking about canceling my appointment because it was making me super nervous.
Those are 1 in a million. If anything is happening.
Yeah, but it's just the point, you know.
I know. That's the mentality we have to get out of.
Maybe make you think like, could that be me?
That's the mentality we have to get out of. You know what I mean? I think we think that this vaccine was created like they said at warp speed, but they actually been working on this for a long time. I mean, it's pretty close to what the flu is, you know, so they've already got vaccines for those. So it's not, we have to kind of get out of that whole mentality, you know, that it's helpful.
I'm telling my friends, they're helpful, but they're not helpful. Because if you've seen some of the videos, I'll send it to you through DMs.
Right.
You're gonna be like, Ash, I see why you scared.
Right. I mean, I those are anti-establishment videos. You know what I mean? Like I'm down with some of those too. That, you know, the government is doing some things, and that's, you know, that's probably the case. But in terms of the vaccine, I don't think that's the case because.
Well, how did you feel when you took your vaccine? How was it? Did you feel sick
afterwards? Fine.
Afterwards?
Second shot, I had a little bit of pain, and a couple of days I had a headache afterwards. So for sure,
Oh, okay.
I had a little. But outside of that, it's good. I'm fine.
You get? Oh, okay. Yeah,
I was a little hesitant to take it too, but yeah, I mean, I think it's for the good of society, for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I know who have taken it, they've been fine. They're like, I've been fine, except for one person. It's like they felt a little bit sick a couple of days after the second shot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like when you take the flu shot, you might get, COVID or whatever, and you just, But they do say this: it doesn't stop COVID, but it's not as like life-threatening.
Right. That's
So yeah.
Which is good. All the help you can get, you take it.
Oh, right. All the help you can get. Okay, so what do you think about traveling now? Like, are you going anywhere?
I'm actually good with that. I wouldn't mind traveling right now. Domestically, okay. I could do that. As long as everybody masked up. And, like I said, I've had the vaccine, so I'm not so worried about it. But I still will follow my own precautionary procedures.
Right.
I'm a little crazy when it goes to flying anyway, because I take the sanitized wipes, and before I sit my ass down, I'm wiping off the chair, table, like everything. You have to, because those tables have more germs than the restroom. They never clean those tables. So
I never knew that.
You carry your sanitizer wipe and wipe that stuff down.
I do carry wipes, so now I know to wipe the table down.
Wipe those tables down.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
The only thing I knew was I used to bring my own. It's a long scarf, but I use it as a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they say they don't wash the blankets, so I never asked them for. I used to carry my own blanket and stuff like that, but I never knew that about the tables.
Yeah, wipe those tables down. Definitely.
Yeah.
And whoever I'm sitting next to, I offer them one too, and they're like, "Oh, thank you," and they do the same thing.
Yeah, I would too. Like I never knew. I would have been wiping those tables down.
Yeah. So in terms of flying, I'm good with that. I mean, obviously the air is filtered and all those things. It's just people are, we're still at the tipping point with that whole thing when people don't wear their masks and the other people have to, and they, get into a confrontation with people, and then you get a fight on the plane and they got to land somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the whole problem with that. But I think hopefully it's getting better.
I will say this: I've traveled at least twice while COVID has been happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun traveling with a mask. I'm not gonna lie. Like being on a plane, being on a plane with a mask is like not cool. It's hot. It's like it's just uncomfortable.
Right.
Especially domestic travel. When I traveled international last August, that wasn't uncomfortable because there was nobody really on the plane. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I just put the jacket over my head so I cannot have the mask on.
Right.
And I can go to sleep.
But
when it came to domestic travel, you can't do that because it's just too much, people beside you. But I didn't like that, I would say. I didn't like traveling with a mask. Like, it just felt like I wasn't, like, my face is like in prison. So I didn't like that at all.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna lift the restrictions on that soon too. So hopefully.
I hope they do. Like I go out the country again in July. So I really hope. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see what's the point of the mask on a plane, because everybody takes their mask off anyway when they're drinking and eating.
Right.
So, and they're always coughing anyway.
Exactly. Well, I think it's probably just to limit the amount of exposure that bodily fluid can travel.
Right.
I guess that's the whole point. Because you're right. Yeah. Everybody takes it off anyway. So to eat and drink.
Right.
People, they linger on just a little bit longer with that soda.
Right.
So they don't have to put it back.
I'm one of those people who be like, I'm still drinking.
Yeah.
Like been done drinking. But I am avoiding places to travel where I have to quarantine. I think I'm not going anywhere that I have to quarantine. I don't have the patience for that. I don't want to do that. Yeah.
I don't either. I mean, I'm feeling kind of a certain way. And I mentioned before that I don't know anyone that has passed away from COVID, but I actually, have a good friend who lives in Brazil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's not he didn't pass away, but his brother passed away. That's the closest. But he's a good friend of mine, and I think about it like that just opens up a whole nother can of worms. Like, how can we? This goes back to something you just said, actually, too. How can we, as people in the United States, be privileged enough to have a vaccine, and we're not taking it? And people in third world countries or other countries don't even have access to it. They're perishing. So I think we, as citizens, and to be global citizens, it's our duty to take the food that's handed to us.
No, it really is, because I do feel like even though we might have like questions and things like that, it does make you think like, and I hate to say this, is that really an American thing where we always have the privilege and then we'd be like side-eyeing it like, I don't know. And it makes me wonder, like, is that our American privilege like showing?
Of course.
Like you said, they need that. They need that vaccine in these developing countries. They really do. A lot of them don't have it. Like, it's really, really like,
they don't have access.
Yeah, it makes me think like, they don't have access to it. They don't have access to a lot of things. Now they don't have the vaccine. It's just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, because it also makes me like check myself, and I'd be like, I'm so ready to travel out the country. Right. And I'd be like, Ash, check yourself. Like, you're going there as a tourist while everyone else there is suffering.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it makes me check myself about wanting to travel out the country.
Right. Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of humility along with it. You know what I mean? Because like you said, we have access to so much here. And then, when we turn our nose up at it, or we give it the side eye, it's all right, but that's the way we have been brought up here. When we need to reassess the importance of being a neighbor, a citizen, a global citizen, and things like that. So, yeah, we have to keep that in check, for sure.
No, I definitely, but wait, you never answered, how are you getting back into the flow of New York City?
How I'm getting back? I actually don't feel like I don't feel like I left it. I feel like I've been working.
Really?
Yeah, and my mindset has still been to
I want some of your juice.
Create. But I feel like I've directed it like you. I've directed it into other things. Like, I've stepped back and said, no, I want to take this time to do some stuff for me. I want to, work on my business. I want to create. I want to explore some avenues that I haven't had time to explore before. I want to reconnect with my friends. I want to take a little more time and really find out how people are doing, and make that connection. So yeah, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. Same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think my flow has ever stopped. How I feel about physically getting back out there, and most of the stuff I've been doing is on Zoom or virtual, but how I physically feel, it's a little awkward because we've been away from each other for a year and a half. So
it's like, do we hug? Do we?
Right. Exactly. You don't know what the physical boundaries are.
Right.
Social boundaries are. So yeah, we just play it by ear and just go.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm gonna be honest. I know this is probably not a topic, but if we're talking about like dating and love, I have noticed this. I am so at peace. I sometimes I'm so like zoomed in my own peace, where if someone's trying to holler, I'd be like, oh yeah, hi. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little slow.
First of all, let me tell you, you can't even see what's from down here. They hollering. They could come out that mask and be like this.
Right, that's true. But what I'm saying is like, it'd be like that. You'd be like, what? Like, you're so, I'm so like I said, I'm in such a, because I went through a time where it wasn't very peaceful. Like the month of April, like I started noticing a difference in me, was towards the end of March, the whole month of April was like chaos. So when you lose your peace and when you gain it back,
right,
you really don't pay attention to what is around you. Right. So you know, to all the men out there, if you're not coming with the real, I can't see you, you know, like, I don't notice you, you know, like,
that's it.
It was like that. I'm trying to tell you, like,
true.
some pretty boy tried to holler at me, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, thanks, and I kept walking, and then I didn't notice I did it till I was like almost near my house. I was like, oh girl, you've been in the house way too long. You don't even notice nothing. Right,
because you know what, like you just said, you got the fire in here, and there's a difference. Like you found the joy now of being who you are. And that's
I never thought about that. I like that.
Here. You know, the happiness is out here, the joy is in here. So you finally rekindle that fire of joy that's inside. So you're
like
okay.
That.
Yeah, you're okay with everything else. Yeah. And you'll know when that person comes along that kicks it up a notch, you'll know.
Yeah, you're right.
We all like to be hollered at, you know, but it's not even that. It's not even that.
Yeah, you're so right. It's not even, and you know what? I never even thought about that. I just thought I was like, you know how you just gotten slow?
Yeah. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's gonna be another topic. We're gonna talk about dating on another topic. Listen,
okay.
We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. So make sure everybody, please check us out on social media. New social media is coming soon. All of you guys, leave comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We're here for you. I'm MarcosLuis.
I'm Ashley Elizabeth Green.
You can find me at MarcosLuis everything. MarcosLuis.
You can find me at Ashley Elizabeth Green.
There you go. On IG and what else? Twitter, everything.
No, I'm just an Instagram girl. That's it.
IG. That's it. We'll see you next time on OneMicNiteTalk. Thank you guys for all joining us here. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Bye. Later.